Josh Denzel here for DAZN, sat opposite the victor in what was an instant classic last April. Chris Eubank Jr. It's a pleasure to have you here a day after what was, I mean, with you a press conference is always going to be fireworks, and also a day after your birthday, and we're going to get onto that a little bit and how you spent it. But for right now, I want to talk about unfinished business. And I want to start by saying, and we're not going to get into it too much because you voiced your concerns, but you believe that there was some underhand tactics used to throw you off your game before your first fight with Conor Benn.
For sure.
So I just want to know why, in your opinion, they did not work.
I am a very hard man to break, mentally, physically, spiritually. I've been through it all. I've seen it all. I've done it all. So it doesn't matter how many traps and pitfalls and, tactics people use to try and derail me or to break me. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go quietly. I know all the things that are going on. I can see them. And it's kind of my job as a fighter in boxing and in life to navigate and to avoid and to stay on track. That's what it's all about. Can you focus on the task at hand? Are you going to let the $500,000 fine affect you mentally? Are you going to let the rehydration clause affect you? Are you going to let the contract breaches ruin your mindset and, get into your head to the point where you're not focusing on the preparation and winning the fight? That was their job. Get this guy's mind off of winning. Get him thinking about all the things that are going on outside of that ring. That's what they did. And that's what I made sure I did not do. Lose track of the task at hand, which was to go out there and put on the performance of a lifetime.
Now, I think a lot of people give you credit for your experience and your ring IQ, but one thing, having known you for a while and having seen you operate, I don't think you get as much credit for being able to control emotion and other people's emotion, the emotion of a room. And that's why the press conference is it's your cathedral. It's the place where you do some of your best work. Judging by the press conference yesterday, did you get the reaction from Conor Benn that you wanted to elicit?
I went into that press conference with a different mindset. Obviously, the press conference we had at the beginning of the last fight, my objective was to embarrass Conor Benn. It was to make sure I did something that was going to stay in his mind for 8 weeks up until fight night, that he was going to get reminded about on the internet, by fans in the streets, and in his dreams and in his nightmares. That was my goal for that press conference. In this press conference, I can't hit the guy with the neck again. That would just be crude.
That would be outrageous.
So this one was more about just telling my story, letting the people know the things that were going on behind the scenes during that build-up and during the fight. Because I didn't really do much interviews. Conor was out doing interviews and going to events and taking pictures with fans and traveling the world, and he was acting like he won the fight. It was incredible. He did like a little victory tour. Me, I kind of just kept to myself. I was with family, I was relaxing, I kind of flew under the radar for the last 6 months. So no one's really heard my story. So I used that press conference as an opportunity to tell my story, to let the people know what was really going on, to let the people understand that these are not the good guys. They portray themselves as the men of the people. They portray themselves as the good guys, as the guys you can trust, but they are not, you know. It's all a facade, it's all an act. I wanted to expose that. I wanted to ruffle some feathers.
You certainly ruffled some feathers.
And that's what we did, you know.
Now, 36, happy birthday. Happy belated. And I think 36 is going to be a birthday that you remember, not for the material gifts, not for the presents and the parties, but for, I guess, the gift of companionship and the gift of repairing and mending a broken relationship. It was the first birthday in 6 years you spent with Senior. How was that? What did you talk about?
We actually had some conversations that we've never had before, which is pretty incredible. 6 years since I've had that man with me on my birthday. So it meant a lot, him being there and being able to talk to him about certain things and, you know, repair certain parts of the relationship, or at least start the process, you know. We had been estranged for many, many years leading up to the fight in April. He came in, he supported me on the night, which meant everything. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're just perfect again. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. There's still a lot of holes and cracks that need to be filled in our relationship as a father and son. And yesterday was, you know, a day which was, you know, I think, you know, a day that's going to help build and repair all those things. So I was very happy. I spent a lot of time with him. And yeah, I mean, listen, what's more important than family, you know?
No doubt.
The watch, the clothes, the cars, the fame, the fighting, the boxing, you know, these are all fantastic things, but when it all boils down to it, what is the most important thing to anybody? It's family, it's love, it's support, it's being able to trust the people that are around you. No amount of money can replace that. No amount of fame can surpass being truly happy and content with the people that are around you, your loved ones. It means everything to me.
We were there and the stadium erupted. How much of a buzz did that give you on fight night? Walking into your changing room, walking out with him with that iconic ring walk. Did it help you dig deep? Did it help you go to the well?
It gave me those few extra percentages. And sometimes those are what are needed those are the difference between a win or a loss in a fight. You know, I was always going to go out there and put everything on the line. But, you know, I had envisioned that night for 3 years. And every time I envisioned it, I was walking to the ring alone. I was getting into the ring alone. I was fighting alone. My father wasn't in my corner. So for that to change literally overnight, it was it was a crazy thing to process, and really I didn't really appreciate it, you know, until I'm like kind of looking back at it days and weeks afterwards, like how much it really changed the whole thing, the whole night, the whole feel. You know, I was speaking to one of my security guys a couple of days ago, and he was telling me that, you know, that a bunch of the guys working for him were in a room and they were watching the screen of when he appeared. And these are big, tough dudes. And he looked around the room and he sees guys welling up, you know, security guys. So it shows you how powerful that moment was, a father and son reuniting. It became more than boxing. And that's what's most important to me. It wasn't about, you know, the ring walk and the music and the show, and it was about the message and the feel that it gave to millions of people all over the world who want the same thing. They want that same connection. I had people for weeks telling me, after the fight, I went and made sure I went and see my dad. I haven't spoke to him for months. Took him out. We did a trip. I called him. We went there. Having that effect on people it's an amazing feeling.
Now, moving from that fight to unfinished business, the rematch, you're a man who's not been shy of chopping and changing your coaches, your training team, the people around you. Jonathan Banks, Roy Jones Jr., Bomac now, Bomac again. So was it Conor Benn's ability in the ring and what he brought to the ring and how that fight played out that necessitated the change for the coach?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's, as you said, it's something I've done throughout my career. It was a great fight. There are things that I feel I could have done better. The fight went 12 rounds. I got hit with shots I shouldn't have got hit with. I got cut. So, there were mistakes that were made. He was on his feet in the 12th round. The bell went and he was on his feet.
What can you change at 36 with all of the wealth of experience you have? Is it a change of mentality going into that fight rather than rewriting your boxing DNA to go and beat Conor Benn?
No, there's nothing to do with mentality. My mentality is not going to change. I'm too old. My mentality is and always has been a man that is willing to walk through the fire. That will never change. This is about just approaching the fight differently, with a different strategy, with a different mindset, with a different game plan. That's why I chose to bring Bomac in. A new set of eyes, a new set of instructions. Jonathan Banks is an amazing coach, but I feel like he has his way of preparing for a fight, and I wanted to switch it up. I got to keep these guys on their toes. You can't do the same thing.
The only boxer wants to keep his trainer on his toes.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about I want to keep Conor Benn and these people on their toes.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Yeah.
What are they going to bring? How are they going to change? Maybe I won't change.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just march forward and bust the guy out. Or maybe I'll be a completely different fighter. You guys are going to have to wait and see. But I want that thought process ticking in these people. Keep them on their toes. What is he going to do?
What did Conor Benn do well in the fight? What did he surprise you with?
He didn't give up.
That's it. The only thing is heart, not ability-wise.
He's a young gun. This is a young man's game. If I was 28, I wouldn't be letting a 36-year-old beat me. I don't care what's happening. A 36-year-old man is not beating me when I'm 28. He surprised me in that he did not give up. When it got hairy, when it got nasty in there, he was willing to stay in there and give it his all.
You said when the first fight was announced, you were sat face to face with him and you said you need to be 60% to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Come fight night, November 15th, live on DAZN, how many percent are you going to be walking into that ring? How many percent would you need to be to beat Conor Benn?
I'm going to prepare to the best of my ability. The 60% went out of the window after he was caught doing drugs. After that, there's no leniency, there's no, I got to get this guy out of there. I got to make him pay for the things he's done. So 60% is not good enough. We're going all out.